So intrauterine, that means the strategies which are adopted by the incumbent firm to raise entry barriers for the new entrants. So intrauterine, it is basically controlled by the incumbent firm. Why the incumbent firm wants to deter the entry? So first, the cause is that the entry of new firm, that is a threat for the incumbent. So what is, so threat means what? Threat for what? That means whenever the new firms will enter into the market, the supply will be affected, and hence there will be a change in the price of the commodity. So threat is that number one, price will fall, and if price falls, their supernormal profit, that will also fall. So this is called the threat. So whenever the threat is a credible threat to them, they will go for intrauterine. So we can say that credible threat that will create intrauterine strategies, that will trigger the intrauterine strategies by the incumbent firm. So we have to remember that higher the degree of monopoly power that the incumbent enjoys, higher will be the possibility of success in deterring entry by their strategies. So we can conclude that, we can say that here, that the entry deterrence or the success of higher the degree of monopoly, if it is higher, that means possibility to succeed in deterring entry will also increase. So now we will study the taxonomy of entry deterrence. So intrauterine strategies that can be classified into two broad categories. Number one is the change in price, and number two is the change in production. So change in price has also two categories. Number one is known as limit pricing, and number two is known as predatory pricing. Similarly, change in production has also two different categories. Number one is known as strategic product differentiation, and another is signaling commitment. So now we will first consider the case of limit pricing. This is very important strategy of entry deterrence by the incumbent firm. So first let us consider limit pricing. So it is a pricing strategy. Pricing strategy of the incumbent firm to deter the entry. So in limit pricing, what does the incumbent firm do? What does the incumbent firm do? It will reduce the price. So it is applicable in the market whenever there are many incumbent firms. So incumbent will, what they will do? They will reduce the price. And what is limit price? Limit price means that the highest price that the incumbent or incumbent firm or firms can charge to deter the entry. So this is the highest price by incumbent firms to deter entry. So what we see in this case, that incumbent firm reduces the price from its monopoly pricing, but this price must be greater than the long run average cost of the firm. That means what? In monopoly price, the firm also enjoys supernormal profit even after reducing the price. That means whenever the firm is adopting the limit pricing strategy, the firm will also continue to enjoy supernormal profit, but they will reduce the volume of supernormal profit to deter the entry of the new firms. So what we can see here, that monopoly price is greater than limit price, and which is also greater than the long run average cost of the incumbent firm. So incumbent firm continues to enjoy supernormal profit because price is greater than the average cost. So if P is greater than long run average cost, in long run we can see that revenue is greater than cost. That implies supernormal profit. What is the difference? The difference is that the firm is sacrificing a part of the supernormal profit just to keep the new firms away from the market. And we have to remember that the precondition of limit pricing is that incumbent must enjoy some cost advantage over the entrants. So this cost advantage can be the case of absolute cost advantage or the case of economies of scale. That means the incumbent is enjoying some economies of scale which the entrant cannot. So here limit pricing is based on one crucial assumption. This assumption is known as Silos postulate. It says that the entrant perceives. What is the perception of the entrant? The perception of entrant is that even after entry, the incumbent will not change his price or quantity supplied in the market. That means in Kuhn model we take conjectural variation as zero. Same thing is applicable here. In this case, the entrant perceives its action or entry will not be observed, or there will not be any strategic change by the entrant even after the entry of the new firm. Sorry, I have mistaken that. There will not be any strategic change by the incumbent even after the entry of new firm. That is Silo's postulate. That means for the entrant, the conjectural variation is zero. Now let us show this with the help of a diagram. In horizontal axis we are measuring output, in vertical axis we are measuring price and cost. So LACI is the long run average cost of the incumbent. For the sake of simplicity, we consider here that long run average cost and long run marginal cost are equal, linear long run average cost function. Similarly, now this is the long run average cost of the entrant. So from the diagram it is clear that long run average cost of entrant is greater than the long run average cost of the incumbent firm. So that means incumbent firm is enjoying absolute cost advantage in this market. Now let's draw the market demand function. This is the market demand function and this is the corresponding marginal cost function. So this is the equilibrium. Better we can do it here. Let us reduce the difference between the long run average cost of two firms. So let us consider this is the LAC of entrant. So here equilibrium point of the market is E. This is the marginal revenue curve, this is the market demand curve. So OPM is the monopoly price. This is G, I call it K, G, E, F, G, H. Now if we consider right now the market, the equilibrium level of output in market is OQM, price is OPM. So cost is area of the rectangle. This is the average cost multiplied by level of output. So cost is the area of the rectangle OKEQM, and revenue is represented by the area of the rectangle OPMGQM, price multiplied by quantity. So area of the rectangle OPMGQM. The supernormal profit will be represented by the area of the rectangle KPMGE. Now, we consider that the entrant or the new firm enters into the market. What will happen? So initially output was OQM. Whenever the new entrant will enter into the market, the supply will start to increase from OQM. Question is, how long the new firm, new entrant can continue? New entrant can continue up to QM Q star. So in this case, what will happen? O Q star is the total market supply and market price becomes O P star. So if entrant enters into the market and the incumbent firm is not changing its level of output, the market can reach the equilibrium point H at which OQM will be supplied by the incumbent, QM Q star will be supplied by the entrant. So in this case, though there is structural barrier to entry, if the incumbent does not intervene in the market, the new firm can enter and new firm can enjoy normal profit here. Now let us come to the entry deterrence policy strategy by the incumbent firm. Incumbent firm has clear idea about the cost of the entrants. So incumbent firm knows that if price falls below OP star, the new entrant will not be able to survive in the market. So to deter the entry, what does the incumbent do? Incumbent firm itself will increase the output level up to OQ star. So now if the new entry takes place, what will happen? Price will start to fall from OP star. And if price falls from OP star, that means the market price becomes less than the long run average cost of the entrant. So entrant will not be able to recover his cost of production by selling output. So it will be out of the market. So what happens to the incumbent? Incumbent now supplies OQ star. Market price is OP star. So what will be its revenue of incumbent firm is O P star H Q star, price multiplied by output. What will be the cost of the incumbent firm? OK is the average cost, OQ star level of output. So average cost multiplied by level of output, OKJQ star. So supernormal profit will be now K P star HJ. Area of the rectangle K P star HJ. So what the incumbent firm is doing? It is reducing price intentionally and take the price at the level OP star. In this case, if the entrant firm, new entrant, enters into the market, the price will start to fall. So we can see here, from here, this dotted line will be the residual demand curve which will be enjoyed by the entrant. But what we see, the average cost is above the demand curve. So the entrant will not be able to, even if it enters, it will not be able to stay in the market. It has to leave the market. So this is the case of a strategic barrier. It could be overcome if the incumbent did not adopt any strategy. But what the incumbent does, taking the advantage of absolute cost advantage, it reduces the price and increases its quantity to make entry difficult for the new firms. So this is the case when entry is deterred by the incumbent firm due to absolute cost advantage. Now we will consider the case of economies of scale. this type of entry deterrence strategy is applicable only if we can find that there is single incumbent plus single entrant. So let us consider that this is the market demand curve. In vertical axis we measure price and cost of production. In horizontal axis we are measuring quantity. This is the long run average cost. Now we consider that for both entrant and the incumbent the average cost is same. And if we consider that this is the market price, this is the marginal revenue curve, this is the market price. So at this market price, this is the, OQ star is the level of output, OP star is the market price. Now, if in such case, if a new entrant enters, the market price will start to fall from P star because already OQ star is supplied by the incumbent firm. So now what will be the residual demand for the entrant? This will be starting from here, this will be parallel to the long run average, to the market demand curve. So in this case what we see, if we start from here, the incumbent firm can charge maximum price OP star, and after that the price will decline. But what happens? The incumbent has already produced a lot and it is already enjoying the benefits of the economies of scale, but the entrant cannot because it cannot start production. So due to just because of the low level of production, the entrant cannot enjoy the benefits of the economies of scale, and it will find it better not to enter into the market. So it will be staying out of the market because it cannot enjoy the benefits of economies of scale, and we see that the demand curve for its product is less than the long run average cost of production. So whatever is the level of output, it will always find loss in producing. So it is better for the entrant to stay away from new firm, to stay away from the market.